Hello everyone and welcome to Cherry's Red Army YouTube channel. I'm Kirk and we're here for a post-match reaction to our latest win in the Championship at home, AFC Bournemouth 1, Rotherham 0. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and also like this video as well. My guest to join me on this post-match reaction is my preview guest, Jamie. How are you?
I'm good. Glad for the 3 points.
Absolutely. And we'll start right at the start. And that was the lineups that were released. And from my recollection, I think you got 9 out of the 11 right. But what was your thoughts when that lineup was released?
Yeah, well, it was most of it was going to be self-explanatory. I said I'd like to see Surridge start, but I thought Woodgate would go with Long, so I wasn't displeased to see him start because I felt like his performances in previous games deserved to be rewarded for his hard work and just give him a chance, really see what he can do. And I was surprised Wilshere didn't start, to be honest, just because obviously it's Jack Wilshere. Like you'd be expecting him to start most games, but Billing played well against Burnley, so he didn't start against Forest on Saturday, so I can see why he was rewarded. Saved Jack's legs. Obviously, he's got a history of injuries, so yeah, it turned out to be a good decision, didn't it?
Absolutely, and it was a 4-2-3-1 that Woodgate went with again. And we're going to go through this match chronologically and have a look at the biggest moments in the game. And we'll start off right at the start. I mean, in the first 10-15 minutes, I don't think neither team really grabbed hold of the game. And the early chances, although there wasn't anything sort of clinical created, but it looked like the first goal was going to potentially come from a set piece or a corner. I mean, did you see that?
Yeah. We said in the preview that Rotherham were obviously going to look to, that's going to be their biggest avenue to score. And I remember early in the game, it was very scrappy. It did look like the only goal for either team was going to come from a set piece. We had a couple of corners, just didn't really amount to anything. Begovic at the other end, he made a couple of good punches away. But generally, the first sort of like 15, 20 minutes, it was two teams feeling each other out and not a lot happened. But like you said, a couple of corners and stuff, but nothing really to shout home about.
And in that period of the game as well, we spoke on, I can't remember when it was now, a few days ago, but we spoke about Danjuma not being effective when he hugged the touchline. And I felt like he was doing the same thing again. But he did get himself in an area just outside or just to the left of the D where he got the ball, cut him right like he normally does and tried to finesse it. When actually, was there a ball onto Stanislas?
Yeah, I don't blame him for shooting just because we've seen him do it a couple of times against Birmingham, against Blackburn. The ones that's like immediately spring to mind. Just him cutting in, banging into the top corner, just whipping it around the defenders and use them as a barricade for the goalkeeper's vision and stuff like that. But I think in that particular moment, I think Junior was the option. That they had a 2v1. It was just simple, and then it was all obviously Surridge and. The right winger, I can't remember who it was, but coming in, might have even been Smith at the back post, just being up there. If he plays that to Stanislas, a little ball across the box, and defenders coming back towards their own goal, anything can happen. It just causes a bit of mayhem. So I do think he made the wrong choice there, but I didn't really blame him too much at the time, just because it was a shooting opportunity, and we didn't really have a lot before that. So test the goalkeeper early doors and just try your luck, basically.
And in the 23rd minute, Jamie, our talent that we've always talked about all season shone through. We would transform we would sort of win the ball from Smith, who would intercept and turn the ball over. It would end up at Surridge's feet. He would then have an overlap where Smith continued to run. Smith would get that ball off of Surridge and would square it back to Phil Billing. And he justified his place in the starting lineup by scoring a goal. That was a very good counter-attack.
Yeah, it was exactly sort of what I was indicated in the preview, where I said we got to learn as a team at times because we're not great against the low block. Give the opposition a little bit of confidence, think they can attack. In that moment, they committed 6 bodies forward. When we turned over the possession, we had a number. It was just a simple numbers game. It was 4 defenders for them, their back 3, and one of the midfielders. We had 5 players. Obviously, the ball went up to Surridge. Smith made that extra player. We had the numbers game. Danjuma's movement, if you watch that back, I think they analysed it on Sky Sports. Brilliant run. Junior the same. Took the defenders away. Nice pullback. Billing. All he has to do is finish it, and he did.
And Surridge was causing havoc at that point. I think he was giving us a press. He was energetic. He was linking thoughts, Stanislas and Danjuma where he could. He was that difference that okay, Long can do that as well, but I think Sam Surridge just gives us a little bit more.
I think he did okay. I don't think he was brilliant. I think he just did what strikers should do. I think he held the ball. He works hard. I don't think necessarily, like, just talking about long term, I don't think he's the answer for us. I don't think he's an amazing player, but I think for where we're at right now with Solanke being out, and I think he does work hard, and you can see that he's gonna run, press defenders, and allow us to be further at the pitch and stretch the play, and he does hold it up well at times, and he gets up and wins headers, and he's a focal point for the attack where we can use to build from. So yeah, I think he did okay. I don't think it was his best game, but I don't think he particularly did anything wrong. It was one of those games where we didn't tend to get the striker involved too much.
So it looked like we were going to go in at 1-0 at half time, and Danjuma would give away a free kick just outside the box. That would lead to a chance for Rotherham and a complete mess at the back. And somehow they didn't take their chance. Probably easier to score than miss, but they missed.
Yeah, very lucky. Very lucky. Poor, basic errors. It's a set piece. It's the one, like in the preview, obviously we said that's probably going to be their biggest avenue to score. They were top scoring set pieces in League One last season, getting promoted. They're up there. I think Cardiff at the top at the moment, but they're certainly not far behind, maybe 6 goals behind. But 33% of their goals come from set pieces. You have to be organised going into the stroke of half time. If they get a goal there, that's massive. This changes the whole complexion of the game. Switched off. Simple as that. No one. We've held a high line. I didn't mind the 4 in the wall. I think people were asking on commentary, is 4 in the wall. I definitely set up with a 4 in the wall at that point. But Danjuma, if you look at his position, is he in the right? Who's he marking? Is he doing anything in that position? I think he was in a redundant position personally. The defenders actually didn't drop back. I'm pretty sure there was a numbers advantage for Rotherham over in the big cluster of players because Danjuma wasn't marking anybody. Not that you want him being the player that's marking. He doesn't defend at the best of times, but no one's dropped in. A free header and then a miss from 3-4 yards. Very, very lucky. Poor defending on another day. That's in the back of the net.
So we go in 1-0, lucky, as you say, and we want to come out and put this game to bed and then manage the team and get some fresh legs on. That wouldn't seem to happen. We couldn't grasp the game where we wanted to or get that second goal. And our goalkeeper, Asmir Begovic, captain tonight in place of Steve Cook, would be called upon, like he has done many times this season, had to make some big saves. There was one from a chance that actually was offside in the end, but still, what a save.
Brilliant save. Why the linesman's not flagging, I don't know. He flags for after he's crossed it in, and the strikers. I swear he's flagged for the striker being offside. He's not even offside. But why you? It's not like you're in the Premier League where sometimes they wait for VAR to sort of like confirm, and they let the play go on. We're playing without VAR. That flag's got to go up straight away, and that really annoyed me. That did. I was shouting at the telly at that point. But yeah, brilliant save from Asmir. But if he does put that flag up earlier, that doesn't come about. Asmir or something coming out there, he could get injured or something, and that'd be a massive thing for us. I think that was poor officiating at that time. Obviously, he went for us for the offside anyway, but I did think that he's got to get that up earlier. But like I said, brilliant save, and he's done it all season.
And just after the 60-minute mark, again, he'd be called upon. A strike from the Rotherham player and a top corner. It looked like it was going, but he would get a save to it. I mean, he's been outstanding at some parts of this season.
World-class save. It was just a simple throw-in down the line, wasn't it? A flick on. They couldn't do a long throw into the box, which they were trying all game, but just a big long throw down to Michael Smith, who's 6'3", 6'4". Didn't really handle him and Crooks that well in the air. They were winning quite a lot of first contacts. And then the strike from, I'm not exactly sure which Rotherham player it was, but it was a brilliant strike. If it would be an absolute worldie if it went into the top bins, but he clawed it away, top hand save. Some people don't always agree with the keeper going with that hand, but goalkeepers would tell you that's the right technique, and he pulled it off superbly.
And at this point as well, Danjuma would be brought off. I think not his best game. Again, I think he was ineffective when he was just too too touch tight to that touchline. And Brooks would come on, and we seemed to have more space on that left-hand side with Rico, and I think Stanislas went over there. We had the same frustrations with Rico again. I mean, there was a lot of criticism on Twitter I saw of Rico's forward play. I think he did okay again defensively. We're just not getting that clinical or creativity from them. I think he does have in the locker.
I think he's a better defender than he is going forward, to be quite frank. I actually quite like him when he plays left centre back. I think he's in a back three. I think his recoveries, I mentioned in the preview of the game, I think his recoveries is what makes him I wouldn't say he's a good player, but he's an average to okay player. Something he gives the ball away too much. But yeah, we do need more because at the end of the day our wingers come inside, so if you to provide the width, that's going to come from your fullback. So if they're the ones that are going to be most often in the crossing positions down the flanks, then we need more quality. As simple as that, because otherwise we're going to struggle to score goals, which at the moment we are struggling to score goals, and that's partly the reason. Obviously, Smith put a good cross in down the other side for the Billing goal, but we need to see that down the left as well, and just generally down both sides on a more frequent basis.
And I thought about you in the 79th minute. Rotherham made a substitution and brought on Freddie Ladapo. And we spoke about him in the preview. And he would find himself in space in the box not long after coming on. And to be fair, he should have scored. But this is a guy that's only scored 5 goals this season, bearing in mind he scored 2 against us in the first league game.
Yeah. He probably should definitely do better. He should definitely hit the target, make Begovic make a save at the very least. I think Lloyd Kelly's actually done really well to sort of put the pressure on him. I think he obviously a little bit, him and Rico again, Rico's position on that, that goal was exactly a carbon copy of the Reading third goal, Lucas Shaw, when he put Steve Cook on the floor. In between the left centre back and the left back's got to cover around basics. Lloyd Kelly needs to scan his shoulders. Where is he? In between them both, he has got back well, but those little things, I'd like, for example, on Saturday, if we give that chance to someone of Charlie Austin's caliber against QPR, that's a goal. Simple as that. And that's where on the trading pitch now in the coming days and stuff, we need to be making sure those little errors are ironed out and everyone's sort of dialed in and focused, because you can't be giving those types of chances up on a regular basis, because better players than Freddie Ladapo will hit the net there.
I was going to say probably about 89, 90 minutes, we were stumbling over the line to a 1-0 result. But then we had a bit of an onslaught in the last 5 minutes. I'm struggling to understand how we didn't score a second.
Well, it's your typical football match, isn't it? A team 1-0 down, they're going to throw the kitchen sink and they're going to throw more men forward. And then that's going to open up the game. And we had chances on the break. We could have scored. Better decision making, better shot selection, sort of shot to pass selection. Maybe sometimes we shot when we should have passed. Sometimes we passed when we should have shot. Sometimes we went to the corner when we probably should have shot, and sometimes we tried to shoot when we should have probably went to the corner. So it was just decision making. But yeah, the game opened up at that point, and Rotherham were throwing. They changed formation probably about 3 times in the game, from like they started with a 3-5-2. They went to a 4 at the back, 4-4-2. They even went 3-4-3 right at the end just to chuck an extra body forward. So it was obviously going to open up, and we had chances to kill it. But yeah, we got a 1-0, and that's all that matters really. 3 points, because that's what's going to define where we finish in the table.
Absolutely, and the 3 points is what we needed. We won a performance, but that was the most important thing, that we got the points. I put a Twitter poll out for Man of the Match after the game, and that included Sam Surridge, Adam Smith, Phil Billing and Asmir Begovic. Before we show the poll and see who won, any shout outs for some of the players on that pitch? Maybe Jeff Lerma, Lewis Cook? I
think Jefferson Lerma has been fantastic since Tyndall went, to be fair. I don't know whether that's just a correlation or well, it was just one of those sort of funny coincidences, but I think he's been fantastic for the last sort of 2 to 3 games at least, and I think he was really good. I think shout out to Cam Carter-Vickers again. He's done. Obviously, he's not going to win every header up against the giants up front at the end of the day, Michael Smith and Crooks. There's 6'5", 6'4". Not going to win everything, but he battled well. I think Adam Smith did really well down the right side tonight. He obviously got the assist for the goal, but just in his general play, I think you compare his play tonight and the last couple of games, really, compared to where he was at a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and he's improved a lot as well. So there's a good. I personally would give my man of the match to Lerma, but of the outfield players, I think the obvious man of the match has got to be Asmir Begovic, just simply because he made some crucial saves for us.
Let's take a look at the Twitter poll then, voted by the Cherries Red Army YouTube and Twitter followers and fans as well to AFC Bournemouth. And you probably see it on the screen now. Asmir Begovic won by 34.8%. So you got that spot on, Jamie. I thought Sam Surridge did better than that, but maybe I just thought he'd come into the team after getting frozen out or left out after good performances. And I just thought he played a part in the goal, so he deserved a shout. That was my thinking there. So, but a close contest for man of the match. Right, Jamie, Sky Sports must have mentioned about 10 times that Woodgate should get this job. Let's just put this in perspective and hear me out. He's done a good job. He's taken over the team. He's not lost. But let's put it in perspective. We stumbled over the line against a team in Birmingham who are massively struggling and in freefall. Let's take the FA Cup out of it. We struggled against Nottingham Forest and didn't have a shot on target. And we've beat a team 1-0 who haven't taken any points off of the top six apart from us and haven't scored away against any of the top six. I mean, if we put it in perspective, does he deserve the job?
On performances, definitely not, because I don't think we're really. I don't think we've improved a hell of a lot since Tyndall left, and I think a couple of weeks ago we would have lost. And the only difference is we've had a little bit of luck against Birmingham, a couple of offside goal and stuff like that. Again, disallowed at 1-0, could have been 2-0. Pearson cleared it off the line against Forest. You could have lost that. Obviously got a clean sheet. Today, missed chance at just before half time, and we've ridden our luck a little bit. But at the end of the day, for this club right now, the performances don't mean anything. You don't get any prizes performances. All we need is to win football matches, and all he had to do was come in, steady the ship, get wins, and just solidify a playoff position. And if he can get on a run of results, got to try and put pressure on the top two. Whether that's realistic or not, probably not. But at the end of the day, he's come in. Even the Burnley game, a lot of people wax lyrical about that. We did play well in that, so I don't think you can write that game off, because obviously he was in charge of it. I think that's got to be factored in. But I think he's done a really good job at steadying the ship. Whether the performances and a bit of luck has coincided with that, that's the thing. And long term, is that going to catch up with us? More than likely. Probability would probably tell you that. But winning breeds confidence, and confidence breeds performances. So to go from where we were losing 4 in a row, maybe losing 6 and 7, 5 and 7, something like that, maybe a draw against Luton, to then go and get 7 points in the league and go through to the quarterfinals in the cup with 3 clean sheets, what more can he do?
And on the other side of the coin, odds have been slashed. Thierry Henry supposedly may be interested in a job, and the club are interested as well. If you thoughts are coming from Mark McAdam and Chris Temple, your quick thoughts on Thierry Henry?
It's absolutely mental, isn't it? Thierry Henry is. I just hearing that, like, Thierry Henry's got to be one of the best players, if not the best player to play in the Premier League. But he's had next to no managerial experience, and it's a massive gamble for us. Massive gap. I think I'd probably prefer Vieira just because he's got the experience of managing in the Europa League and top French division over Henry. But just to be even linked with those names, being Bournemouth fan, is just sort of, it's crazy. It's a difficult one, because obviously my personal opinion is that I think we need a bit of know-how, a bit of experience, not necessarily a dinosaur like a Pulis or a Mark Hughes or something like that, but someone who knows their way around the league. Someone like who's got out the league, like Jukanovic, or someone of that ilk who's been there, done it, plays attractive football, and sort of that's what I would sort of think that we need in this moment in our time, in this moment for our club, just because how important it is financially and stuff to get back up to the Premier League. But in terms of like a name and people getting a lift out the players, potentially like an Henry or Vieira or someone like that would do that, just because of their illustrious playing careers, and just have the presence of them being at the club. It may bring some of the better performances out of our like attackers and stuff like that. So it's a difficult one. I wouldn't like to make the decision myself, but yeah, it's absolutely crazy for the people that have been linked with the job to. You would never have thought it. Well, even a decade ago, it's mental.
Okay, before we close out the show then, Jamie, let's have a look at the rest of the Championship over this midweek game week. So we picked up points. We got 2 consecutive wins at home now, but there were also wins for the rest of the top 6. Brentford did lose though. Swansea won again. Norwich, won as well and kept their position at the top. Yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on some of those results over this midweek?
Well, the immediate one I look at is QPR beating Brentford because that's our next fixture. They're obviously on decent amount of form, sort of thing. So they got Charlie Austin back to the club. Obviously, everyone knows how well he did for them before when Harry Redknapp and stuff was the manager there. So he's playing in an environment that he likes. He's scoring goals. He's on form. So that's something that we need to be looking out for Saturday. But generally, I'm not really particularly looking at Swansea, Norwich, and Brentford in general, just because I personally don't believe that is a realistic thing that we're going to catch the top 2. I'm more looking at your likes of Cardiff on a run. Mick McCarthy just come in. Barnsley beat Brentford, won again against Blackburn tonight. Stoke beat. I don't really see them as a threat just because I think they lack goals and I think they'll peter away. But they're still there, thereabouts. They only 7 points away from us. Middlesbrough got back on the horse, sort of thing. They've been on a poor run. Get a win at home after being 1-0 down to Huddersfield, and they get a 2-1 win. So, yeah, Cardiff are the ones, and I'd say Barnsley at the moment are the 2 that I'm looking at and thinking they're the team that you usually see coming out the pack at the middle to the back end of the season, and we just need to sort of keep ticking our points over. Maybe looking at Reading above us on only 2 points ahead of us. Can we drag them back into it? So it's not just a battle for 6th place, is a battle for 5th and 6th place, and that's sort of what I'm looking at the moment because we've got a massive game coming up against Cardiff in a couple of weeks. But next week, isn't it? Actually,
yeah, we've I mean, retaining that 6-point gap is really key, I think. And you mentioned it. We've got a big week actually. We've got QPR, as you said, that beat Brentford. We've got Cardiff this time next week. And then we've got Watford on the Saturday. So the next 3 games, and even if we can get closer to Watford, because I'm sure Reading, the wheels are going to fall off at some point.
People have been saying that all season about them, haven't they? So I think they've just not been in this position a long time, Reading. Neither have we really, because we've been in the Premier League, but when we last in the Championship, we got promoted. But Reading haven't been in the playoff scenario in a while, and they got a young team as well. So I think if they get a bit of pressure put on them, they may start. You may start to see some cracks in them. But I'd like to sort of get into that 5th position if possible, and then not get a bit further away. Maybe get to like 9-10 points from 7th, 8th position, and then you got that little bit of buffer because we got the goal difference as well, which could be a massive factor coming into the season because that's an extra point. Like even if Cardiff and Borough won 2 games right now and we lost 2 games, we would still be above them on goal difference. So that could be a massive factor come April, May time.
Performance is not there though, Jamie. So we got the result. That's the key part. Any final closing comments?
No, I'm just glad to win. Like at the end of the day, I said on my review of the last game against Forest, where a couple of people saying it was boring, it was a bad result and stuff. I was like, it's a clean sheet against a form team. It was third in the form table at the time, on form team, and we got a clean sheet there. Performance wasn't great tonight. Performance wasn't great again, but we got a boring 1-0 win. If we do that against QPR on Saturday, that's a much healthier league table for us. Do I think the performances need to improve? Absolutely, because if we play like that against the better sides, we will get found out. But winning, like I said earlier on, winning breeds confidence, and hopefully that confidence for the players and a little bit of less pressure in terms of the table, being a little bit further ahead of the chasing pack, might relieve a little bit of pressure, and then we start to see better performances and then hopefully more wins.
Jamie, enjoy the rest of your week. I'm sure I'll chat with you at the weekend at some point. Thanks for coming on this match review.
No worries.
See you soon.
See you, mate.
So we did it. we got the win, we got the points, and as Jamie said, performance do need to improve, but at the moment, just getting those points on the board, retaining that 6-point gap from 7th is key. Let us know what your thoughts on the game and your best moments. Did Woodgate have a good game as a manager? Does he deserve the job? Let us know what you think. Make sure you like this video. Also subscribe. Don't miss an interview with Neil Young tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Join for that and let us know your thoughts in the chat. Until the next video, we'll see you soon. Up the cherries.